about the E-Man and Trump. As a proud father of three kids who were adopted through foster care because their parents abused them, I want to bring this down a little bit from macro, talking about the white dudes, to micro, talking about the kids and what happens to them afterwards, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. I think it's a great point.
So I had to sit every other month. 1 month it was family court, 1 month was criminal court, to sit there while I had these three kids, they're all siblings, that were sent into foster care because both parents fostered them.
Nope.
I had a phone call come through.
It's okay. You're good.
So I had to sit there every month and go through the family court as well as the criminal court. And I had to sit there and listen to the abuse of what the father and the mother did to these kids. These kids were 3, 4, and 6 at that point. It's disgusting. And I had to sit there and not jump the turnstile to be able to attack these people because the abuse they had. They were swingers. They had people coming through their house. So fast forward to now when they're teenagers. They're 13, 14, and 16 right now. So it's been 10 years since they came to our house last month. The things I have to deal with over the last 10 years is my youngest, who came to us at 3, nonverbal, still in diapers because his parents didn't take care of him at all. He didn't speak. He didn't know, he wasn't potty trained at all. So we had an infant basically. And sorry, my business phone keeps ringing. And so we still have problems with him not being able to make friendships because he's so pulled away from people. So we have him in counseling and stuff like that. My daughter, who's 14, has nightmares still about her father and her mother. And the things I have to worry about is her trying to get people to like her. People like her. She's a very friendly girl, but she also likes people. She needs attention, whether it's good or bad. And because she doesn't know, she always wants people to give her attention no matter what it is. And then my oldest, who's 16, has, how could I say it? Space issues, personal space issues. He's a very touchy-feely person, and he doesn't. Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's hard to have this conversation when your phone keeps cutting out, man. Is there any way that you can turn it off, or maybe you find yourself a different time? Because there's a lot of important stuff here. It's just hard to have the conversation when you keep getting calls.
Yeah, I'm going to disconnect it right now. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, it's disconnected. So he has personal space issues, and so we have to deal with him saying, "Hey, listen, I know you're a huggy-feely type of person, but there's times and places for that, and you're not trying to do anything bad." But other people might feel different about that. And so all three of my kids are in counseling, all for these reasons. So when people start talking about, oh, well, Trump didn't do this or E-Man didn't do that, that's fine and dandy. But let's talk about what happens to those probably thousands of kids that are affected by this. How many unalive themselves at some point that we don't know about?
Exactly.
There's so many different things. And when people say, well, oh, I don't care if he's on the list. You don't care about the children then.
Exactly.
That's what it comes down to. You were thinking about your McDonald's Messiah and not caring about what happened. And so
that's exactly right.
This is not the WWE. It's not good guys and bad guys. It's not a baseball game. It's not winners and losers. You guys keep thinking this is a game. It's not a game. There's actual real life problems that happen because of this. And we should all be on the same page. If they all did it, they all need to go to jail, no matter if they're right, left, middle, whatever. It's not a hard concept.
I know. I appreciate that breakdown, and which is exactly why we're trying to do this here in this in this vacuum of independent journalism, to try to talk about these stories so that we are reminding people that Ghislaine Maxwell is not a fucking victim. And the people who are the actual victims, their voices need to be heard. Maria Farmer, Stacey Williams, and others. Yes.
If she introduced one person to him, she's not a victim. Plain and simple.
Correct. I appreciate you being here today. Thanks a lot, friend. See you later.
No problem.
Really great point. It's part of the reasons we have to have these conversations. It's exactly why we have to have these conversations. Oh, there's Danny. Hey there. How are you?
Hey, friend. I'm well. How are you?
Doing okay. What's going on?
A lot, as always, right? I think that one of the reasons why I say that it doesn't matter to me if anyone at this point in time says that Trump is on a quote unquote list. The reason why it doesn't matter is because I already know the relationship. I already know that he rode on Epstein's planes 8 times in the 90s. I already know that he used one of Epstein's old planes during his 2024 campaign when his plane had problems, right? So, and people act like the island is the only place where these things took place when we know that that's not true, right? We know that they took place in New York, which is one of the places where he flew with Epstein. We know that they took place in Florida. So it doesn't matter when people say that, it doesn't, if he was really on there, then Biden would have said so. No, he wouldn't, because if Biden had released anything, MAGA would have said it was conspiracy. MAGA would have said it was just them trying to frame him. It's smarter to not do anything under a Democratic administration. And
but a lot of information did come out during the Biden administration. We talked about that yesterday because the court unsealed the documents. That was because of public pressure, not because the Biden administration separated themselves. They believed in the independence of the Department of Justice. So they weren't they didn't approach it as if the DOJ is the personal law firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, right? So again, information was published during the Biden administration. So we debunked that yesterday. But you're that's exactly right, by the courts. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the part that I think is really important, is that it was the courts that did it, which was great because it didn't have anything to do with the administration. Funny enough, the administration was too busy trying to take care of the American people, passing really great legislation. Imagine that.
Correct. Agreed.
So I think that, like your last guest saying, when people say they don't care if he's on the list, they don't care about the kids. No, not true. Because some of us have been following this long before it was a political issue, right? Way back when, the very first time Jeffrey was charged and got like a slap on the wrist and a damn ankle bracelet and sent home, right? So I think that it does matter. But here's my honest opinion about where we are. And this is not a fact at all. This is just my opinion. I think that this is where the Republican establishment is okay. Are you telling me that Murdoch didn't have the birthday card before now? Of course he did. Are you telling me that nobody knew any of this information before now? Of course they did. But the bottom line is they don't need him anymore. They are in here for a second term. They are perfectly fine if Dems take him down or if Epstein takes him down. They don't care anymore because they're in and they're able to accomplish what they want. And what people better pay attention to is Emil Bove and that damn federal appointment, lifetime appointment. 100%.
Agreed. I agree. No, I said the same thing, Danny. Like I think you're absolutely right. I think it's not a coincidence that JD Vance flew out of the blue to Montana to meet with Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch. That's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that the stories have been leaking little drips and drops. First, it was that Trump was on the birthday card. Then it was reported by the Wall Street Journal that Pam Bondi did, in fact, let Trump know. Then it was that Bill Clinton was on the birthday card. So this is all part of the strategy. I completely agree with you, which is why I think that Donald Trump's going to be 25th by the end of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they don't need him anymore.
I think they were going to hold on, though, if you really want. I think that they were going to try to keep him in until the 2-year mark, if possible. That way, when J.D. Vance took over, he could still run for the last 2 years and then run for 2 more terms, right? Because he can't. It's
the other way around, though. He can't serve beyond 2 years.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I think they wanted Trump to stay in office for the 2-year mark, but I don't think they're going to make it there. So I think that J.D. Vance is going to only get to serve 1 term after this if he ever wins, right? So that's just kind of where I think we are with this. I'm interested in your take. What do you think will happen with this second whistleblower, and that is confirming what Ravini already told us? And do you think it'll make a difference? Because the vote can come as early as today on Emil Bove. So do you think the second whistleblower will have any impact? No,
I don't. Because I think that what the Republicans have done in these confirmation hearings is just bend the knee. I mean, I would be stunned if they approved him. I mean, I should say I would be stunned if they didn't approve him. Quite frankly.
Did you hear what Sheldon Whitehouse said about the Democratic argument with the parliamentarian?
Yeah.
You think a parliamentarian will do anything? No?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what they can do. I mean, again, the confirmation process is going to be different than the parliamentarian piece, but they're related. I just don't know. I mean, people, Danny, you and I both know that the Republicans want to rule. They don't want to govern. Yeah. They don't care. They don't care of the impact. Thank you. They don't care about the destruction of democracy. They do not care. That's why I keep saying, that's why I know people like you who I have tremendous respect for. Please, if you guys don't follow Danny, please do so. This is why independent journalists like us have to stay talking about this kind of stuff, because it won't get covered. They're not talking about Emile Beauvais. They're not talking about that.
That pissed me off so much. I was so angry because we went through like the entire whistleblower. And I think that people, if they don't connect the dots between Emile Beauvais and Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and at the same time that these two things were taking place, right? So when Emile Beauvais is telling the DOJ attorneys to tell the court F you and ignore court orders, is that at the same time that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is being sent to CCOT, right? The timelines are happening at the exact same moment when Drew is lying in court and telling Boasberg, I don't really know if there are any flights. The flights are literally taking off during that point in time. And I think that people are missing an opportunity to really connect all of the dots and bring it to the forefront, because this is the problem. When you have a DOJ that is corrupt, we're screwed if we don't protect our federal judges until we get to the midterms.
Isn't it interesting, Danny, too, that how the claims from again, this is conditioning, and I know you know this, part of the propaganda strategy and the disinformation campaign from the right is to discredit every single institution, right? Every single one. Discredit all of them. It's lawfare, it's weaponized DOJ. That did not happen under the Biden administration. The converse is true now, because that's exactly what the Department of Justice is doing. Yeah, it's weaponization. I mean, they tell us that every single day. It's not like it's not like it's a surprise. No, again, the independence of the Department of Justice is supposed to be a foundational principle of our system, which is part of the reason, in my opinion, that Joe Biden should have stepped in regarding Merrick Garland, because I think Merrick Garland has got a lot to blame as to why we're in this position now for dragging his feet too long. But the desire was to keep the Department of Justice independent. And here we are.
But would it have been great if he had actually been able to be appointed to the court under Obama? And then guess what? He would have never been over the DOJ, and many things would have ended up completely different, right?
Correct. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. One last question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think about, because I'm pretty excited having lived in North Carolina for quite a long time. I'm pretty excited that Roy Cooper is running for the Senate.
Me too. Yeah. I think that's a big one. I think that's I mean, again, I don't ever count anything, but he's popular down there. I was looking at some of his margins. When he won re-election, he was winning by big margins, especially with independents. And we've got some polling that I'm going to go over in a little while about how, even Republican loyalty for Trump has slipped a little bit. Yep. Not a lot. It's still like 88, 89%, but it was above 90%. And independents, it's been like a 27 or 30 point swing on the favorability side. So that tells me right there that that's a winnable seat. I think the seat in Maine is winnable. I think Ohio's got some potential there. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm really excited. The map could look different. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I appreciate you, my friend, for always digging in.
I appreciate you more. Are you live today?
I am live. I believe it or not, I just came back. I took my grandbabies and my oldest baby to the beach for a few days. So I'm going to be live in about an hour. Yeah. So I definitely needed it, but I'll be live in about an hour and a half.
We will raid you, Danny. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you, friend. Have a good one.
See you later. All right, too. Bye. She's right. Again, these are the kinds of things, and we will talk about all this kind of stuff, but I know that the right does not want to have the conversation about this. And it's telling that we get mass reported twice. It's telling for people to be twisting themselves in knots to defend P3DOs. Like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? It's just wild to me. It's amazing. Wow. You're right, Zoom. It's abhorrent is a good way to describe it. Hey, Drew, how are you?
Hey, Steve, how you been, buddy?
I've been fine, friend. What's going on?
I wanted to play a little mental game for our MAGA friends that are in the box here. And I know that they don't have the strong mental capacity, but I want you to picture something, okay? Imagine if we had thousands of pictures and videos of O.J. Simpson wearing the gloves and holding the knife. Imagine that.
If the glove doesn't fit, you must quit, right? Yeah. Yep.
I mean, and then everybody goes into the trial and's like, I'm not real sure. I mean, okay, yeah, he had a knife. Everybody has a knife. People know knives. And the glove, that's what we're seeing here. Like, we have thousands of pictures of them together. There's videos of them together. We hear conversations of them. You've played the deposition videos.
Yep.
That's what's crazy to me is it's just like none of this stuff exists for them. It's like a whole different alternate reality. And they think that somehow like things from 1992 were AI generated.
Correct.
It blows my mind. And to me, it's also another argument against why billionaires are a horrible thing. They have everything. They have everything you could possibly want as a human being. They just need more and more. So they're going to go do things like this. They're going to do things like, okay, well, I'm going to get the taboo thing. That's what I'm going to do. And no one's going to stop me. And what's sad is no one stops them because they have the money to buy their way out of it. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing this over and over again.
You're right. So, I did a video over the weekend, and I don't want people to. We can be angry because I started the show today when we got here, then we got clapped, then we got clapped to the backup. I started the show today by saying, I believe that the pardon has already been issued or a sentence commutation. I mean, I don't think there's any way around that. Just because if we think about it logically, and you've got a good brain, Drew. So I think about it logically. Why there's the only leverage that Ghislaine Maxwell has is her testimony. So she gave up from her own attorney. She gave up 100 names. There's no reason you would do that unless you're going to get something. Her entire argument the entire time is not her innocence. She could have testified at her own trial. She didn't. Her claim now, the appeal that she wants to bring to the Supreme Court is that she was wrongfully prosecuted because of the protection agreement or the non-prosecution agreement that Epstein signed. So think about that. She's not even attempting to go and have, because if that's the argument that she wants to use, that non-prosecution agreement covered co-conspirators. So she's acknowledging that she's a co-conspirator by doing that. Therefore, acknowledging that she participated in the crimes that she is in jail for, and MAGA is suddenly going to take her word for it. It's crazy. Like, they're literally defending a person who is guilty of crimes against kids. We're not talking about election interference. We're not talking about, whether or not a president can declassify documents. We are talking about crimes against children, the most heinous crimes there are. Sexual abuse and assault and rape of 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls, thousands of them potentially, with hundreds of victims' names. And you're going to defend that. Good luck. That's why I say public opinion will decide. Good luck.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be a partisan issue. I mean, that's what's crazy to me is like just the very concept of that is like, you had last week, and I was trying to get on and talk last week because you had a caller that I know was a supporter, but you very rightfully so stood up and said, no, I don't agree with you on this. And they were saying, about forgiving their MAGA, family members, this and that, and we've got to try to bring them into the fold and everything. The very concept that somebody can accept something like what we're saying here, like that they're just going to accept a pardon because it might implicate someone else that they don't like. That's why we can't bring these people into the fold. That's why we can't just apologize and be like, I'm just going to overlook it. And, it's just politics. It's not. It goes so far beyond politics. It goes to right and wrong. And that's what's crazy to me. It's like people be like, I'll use the Superman movie, for example. It's so political. What's political? It's talking about a guy who is trying to do the right thing. He's trying to be nice. He's showing that nicest.
Who's an immigrant by
kindness. Yeah, who happens to be an immigrant. Well, you're bringing politics to it. No, that's a fact. He is literally an alien from another planet.
Correct.
And so that's what always gets me. Is like you tell on yourself when somebody mentions something like kindness or, taking care of, like actually taking care of kids, education, all these things that are just like, it just seems like common sense. And people are like, well, you're just bringing politics into it. That tells on yourself. When you think that kindness is political, if you think that doing the right thing is political, you've just told on yourself.
That's exactly right.
That's all I got to say, man.
I appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for being here, Drew. Talk to you later.
I'll be listening. Thanks, Steve. Bye.
All right, thanks. That's exactly right. This shouldn't mean we're not making this a partisan issue. MAGA, conservatives, Republicans, you guys are the ones that are making this a conservative political issue. This should not be. This should be the easiest layup you guys have ever met. I know that would mean that you might have to agree with libs, because if you're at that crossroads, right? Do I agree with the liberals or do I believe a convicted P3DO? Oh, fuck. If you have to think about that for more than 3 seconds, then you're part of the problem. Don't you understand? Like, do you get what it is that we're trying to say here? I don't know how you can defend it. So stop defending it. Forever Young, how are you today? Forever Young, are you there? Hello? Forever Young. I guess not. Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about, since somebody made the comment, I mentioned this a bit before, and I just want to make sure that we are addressing the claims that the Biden administration didn't release anything. Well, let's talk about that right now, because I think the timing is appropriate. Do I have that file saved? Where did I put it? Shit, I got to get reorganized. I really, really do. Okay, hold on a second. Do I have that? I do. Stand by a second. Hold on. Shit. I know most of it by heart. Jeffrey Epstein was tried, convicted, and sentenced in 2019 under the Trump administration. You know what I'll do instead? Let me just play this. This is wild. So I talked yesterday about what's his name, Mark Wayne Mullen, who is a senator from Oklahoma. Not the brightest bulb in the tree, and this is not insulting anybody who's not pursued higher education, but he is the only senator that does not have a bachelor's degree. Everybody else has a bachelor's degree or more. He was on with Jake Tapper talking about this, trying to make the claim that this conspiracy happened under the Biden administration, that they could have released the information. A lot of information came out during the Biden administration because the courts released it. So the information that Pam Bondi has was released during the Biden administration. So for people to say they didn't release anything, yes, they did. They released a lot. This is Mark Wayne Mullen. This interview is very telling because it kind of speaks to the fact that, first of all, he's not very bright, Mark Wayne Mullen, and they're trying to spin this conspiracy because people like we've had on this morning saying, well, what about Biden? Biden couldn't have released it. Well, he did release it. He released a whole bunch of it. Yeah, but he didn't release all of it. Well, a lot of it was still sealed under record because there was a court case happening. You can't just release information. No, that's fake news. He could have released it. Jesus Christ, they're dumb. So this is Mark Wayne Mullen. All right.
It was a sweetheart plea deal that was made underneath the Obama administration with Epstein.
Right. That's not
and
right.
that sweetheart has not been exposed.
No, it was 2000.
Not? Well, when was the case heard?
It was 2008. It was the U.S. attorney at the time was a guy named Alex Acosta. He was a Bush appointee. He went on to become President Trump's Secretary of Labor. It all took place in 2008.
Who was in office at the time?
2008, George W. Bush.
Who was in office at the time?
George W. Bush.
No, 2009 is when the case came out, and it was and Obama was in office at the time.
It's not true.
It's just not true. So again, George W. Bush appointed Alex Acosta. The plea deal, we went through it earlier, was signed in 2007. George Bush, what the non-prosecution agreement, George Bush was the president. Okay? So you guys can try to spin this any way you want. And the more you spin it, the more we're going to talk about it. The more that we're going to remind you, first of all, this, and the fact that you are trying to justify supporting the president of the United States who is connected to Jeffrey Epstein. You can't deny that. Okay? There's no way. You can't run from that. You just can't. You can try all you want, but you can't run from it. Okay? All right. Shifting gears a little bit, I want to talk about the obsession with wind that the twice impeached, four-time indicted, sexually abusing fraudster, convicted felon has. It is staggering to me that he is this pathetically stupid and that people continue to support him, but that's where we are. So this is fucking wild. Do I have it queued up? Yes. This was part of that ceremony, whatever you want to call it, at his golf course, and then making claims that he signed this amazing deal, which he didn't. And I've got some reporting on that about the EU's like, no, that's not what the agreement is. That's just Mr. Trump is trying to tell you guys. But this whole thing is just, well, here you go.
And the other thing I say to Europe, we will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. They're killing the beauty of our scenery, our valleys, our beautiful plains. And I'm not talking about airplanes. I'm talking about beautiful plains, beautiful areas in the United States. And you look up and you see windmills all over the place. It's a horrible thing. It's the most expensive form of energy. It's no good. They're made in China, almost all of them. When they start to rust and rot in 8 years, you can't really turn them off. You can't bury them. They won't let you bury the propellers, the props, because there's a certain type of fiber that doesn't go well with the land. That's what they say. The environmentalists say you can't bury them because the fiber doesn't go well with the land. In other words, if you bury it, it will harm our soil. The whole thing is a con job. It's very expensive. And in all fairness, Germany tried it, and wind doesn't work. You need subsidy for wind, and energy should not need subsidy. With energy, you make money. You don't lose money. But more important than that is it ruins.
Just real quick, we subsidize the shit out of oil companies in our country, but anyway.
The landscape, it kills the birds. They're noisy. You have a certain place in the Massachusetts area that over the last 20 years had 1 or 2 whales wash ashore.
Dude, what the fuck you talking about, dude? Like, whatever, dude. Don't be fucking talking about my fucking state like that, dude. Like, whatever. Fucking whales fucking die, dude. Whatever.
And over the last short period of time, they had 18. Okay? Because it's driving them loco. It's driving them crazy. Now, windmills will not come. It's not going to happen in the United States. And it's very expensive. And I would love to see. Today I'm playing the best course, I think, in the world, Turnberry. Even though I own it, it's probably the best course in the world, right? And I look over the horizon and I see 9 windmills. It's like great. At the end of the 18, I said, isn't that a shame? What a shame. You have the same thing all over Europe in particular. You have windmills all over the place. Some of the countries prohibited, but people ought to know that these windmills are very destructive. They're environmentally unsound, just the exact opposite. Because the environmentalists, they're not really environmentalists. They're political hacks. These are people that they almost want to harm.
Somebody get Peepaw.
The country. But you look at these beautiful landscapes all over the world. Many countries have gotten smart. They will not allow it. They will not. It's the worst form of energy, the most expensive form of energy. But windmills should not be allowed. Okay.
Windmills should not be allowed. That's the statement of the day. I just want to remind people that there are individuals in his administration who also have some strong opinions regarding wind power. That was a 2.5 minute. I don't know what the fuck he said there. His obsession with windmills is because there are windmills off the coast of his golf course in Scotland, and he thinks that they're ugly. So he creates all these scenarios in his head. It's embarrassing. But what about Biden? So as a reminder, I played this sound for you guys yesterday, but these are people in his administration talking about wind because he won't let them ignore it.
Your oceans, stop the windmills. Is he right?
He's 100% right. Look,
this is Mark Thiessen. Okay, Mark Thiessen is a former White House speechwriter. That's something that I do as part of the work that I provide. I write speeches for people. We don't fucking claim this guy. Okay.
Just so people understand, wind and solar only work when there's wind and sun. We don't have technology to store the energy from wind and solar. So if you make yourself reliant on wind and solar, then if there's no sun and no wind, you get no energy. It's insane to be making your countries dependent on this. At first they went from being dependent on Russia for natural gas. Now they're depending on wind and solar. Maybe they ought to do what he's doing and start, producing nuclear energy and drill, baby, drill. That would be smart.
I just think we're all coming around that way, and hopefully the West will follow. They have no choice.
Just gonna play this one part again. I'm sorry.
In your oceans, stop the windmills.
Is he right?
He's 100% right. Look, just so people understand, wind and solar only work when there's wind and sun. We don't have technology to store the energy from wind.
My guy. That's. I'm sorry. Hold on. The storage things that you're talking about, those are known as batteries. Those are known as batteries. There's an entire industry, that makes batteries. Don't forget, I am fucking Zen, yes. Don't forget, Donald Trump has gone on the record as saying that solar doesn't work at night. Yeah, we know. But there are batteries, and what batteries do, when the windmill turns, it provides power, and when the windmill is not turning, the power produced by the windmill turning comes from the batteries. And solar panels, if you ever have them, you can look, they go into batteries, and the batteries are what holds the energy when it's not sunny or the wind is not blowing. But apparently batteries are woke because we don't have them and we don't need them. What's going on, stranger? How are you, my friend?
I'm sorry. Did this fucker just disinvent batteries for the purposes of his argument?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
I thought I was having a stroke.
That's why I couldn't stop laughing. We don't have the technology to store the energy. Yeah, it's called a fucking battery.
I mean, I'm old enough to remember when William Conrad was daring us to knock batteries off his shoulders. So it's been around for a while, this technology.
That's true. Good point.
So
I know, dude. Right?
What the fuck? Okay.
Exactly.
Now they're just. I would say
like
now they're being stupid, but they've been like this for a while. So,
like I said, that guy's a speechwriter, and from one speechwriter to another, I don't claim him, so he's not part of our club.
Well,
he doesn't get in the he doesn't get behind the velvet rope.
To be fair, someone did bill him as a former speechwriter, so apparently
true.
Not doing that.
It's a good point.
Anymore.
That's a good point. It's a really good point. Yes.
Apparently, he's switched over to comedy now.
Apparently so. Whatever it takes. Yeah, I mean, now what's going to happen is people are going to be watching this. People who mainline Fox and be like, you see what? Windmills and solar don't work because we got no way to store it. Okay. Well, what about batteries? Yeah, batteries are woke. MAGA man, you know how I know that batteries aren't woke? It's because your wives and girlfriend have lots of them. If you know, you know.
Thank you. He's here all week, folks. Don't forget to tip your waitress and please try the veal.
Exactly.
Yeah. I saw a meme recently in regards to that. It's Ben Shapiro and his wife, and it was labeled. Each of them were labeled. He was labeled as the Chevy, and she was labeled as the Levy. And I was like, that was droll. That was really droll. If you know that song, that was. I would say it was fucked up, but it's Ben Shapiro.
That's true.
He did scream about never making his wife wet. So.
Yeah, that's true. He did talk about that. How he's never been able to do that. But I think that's a membership requirement for MAGA men. Have you ever satisfied your partner? Hell no. And then you're in.
You're supposed to.
Exactly.
That was all about me.
Yep.
Anyway, I just thought I'd stop in on you, see how you've been doing, buddy.
I'm in good, pal. It's good to hear your voice. It's been too long. Hope things good with the fam. You doing good?
Yeah, so far so good. It looks like we're sporting the same look these days.
Oh yeah. Look at that handsome devil. Look at that. There you go. The face behind the voice.
Yes, the face behind the voice. I try to stop in every now and again. I'm not on here as much as I used to be, so I got busy.
I know. I get it. I understand. How do you think this whole thing's going to shake out? I made the prediction that I think Trump's going to get 25th over this, just because of everything it's connected to it. Like you can't be defending a P3DO, my guy. You know.
I would say about somewhere between November and January. I got into a discussion with somebody and I said, okay, so I don't think, this was my prediction. I do not believe that he will live through his term. Because here's the thing. Trump space is Trump space. It cannot be co-opted. It cannot be taken. It cannot, and they will not evaporate or go away. But under a certain set of circumstances, they can be inherited.
Yeah.
And we're talking about an individual who has, for the longest time, been one Big Mac and an order of fries away from the great beyond anyway.
It's true.
And if we have an articulate young heir apparent who can eloquently express empathy, well, not empathy, but sorrow and dismay over his loss, then theoretically that base can be transferred. And if it can be transferred in that way, do they really need him for much longer?
Yeah, somebody made that comment earlier. JD, I think so. Peter Thiel reads the tea leaves as well. He knows that JD Vance can't win an election because he's just not popular. The advantage that Trump had is that he could not, his policies that he doesn't have were irrelevant to his base. All he had was his messaging. He's effective. We can be objective and say he was very effective at uniting his base, very effective at conjuring up those emotions. JD Vance does not have that. But what Peter Thiel wants some kind of stability in the White House so they're not constantly defending crimes against kids, windmill bullshit, fucking nonsense. That's what Peter Thiel wants. And the people behind him who've got the money, and I think they're going to get it. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, here's the other end of that from my first comment. I'm still flabbergasted. And I can understand it as a gaffe. You know, you mistake the country of Wales for Wales and it flies out of your mouth and off you go. But we're fucking 8 months past, we're like 2 years past that at this point, and he's still talking about windmills killing whales.
Yeah,
like
I know, right?
Aquatic life form. The thing that sits 80 to 120 feet high usually, as he mentioned before, on the plains, is somehow killing whales in the Marianas Trench.
Yeah, exactly. In Massachusetts, the whales are dying. Okay, sure. Okay, fine. But just let Peepaw be Peepaw.
I'm gonna let you get back to it, man. Because here's the thing: I stopped arguing about Donald Trump a long time ago in regards to the back and forth and trying to convince people and change their minds. At a certain point, I just said, just let Trump be Trump. The rest takes care of itself. And sure enough, here we are.
I agree. Don't stay away for so long next time, okay?
I'm surprised by nothing. I'm absolutely surprised by nothing he says or does.
Me neither.
Or what list
come
he
back.
might be on.
Come back sooner. Don't stay away too long. I appreciate you, my friend. Talk to you later.
Yes, sir.
Peace. Somebody sent a question. Okay, I don't know much about anything. Is there any evidence, right? Is that he's done any of these acts about it? Don't get me wrong here. I'm a supporter, but if he was doing that bullshit, he can burn it now. We got a question. Somebody had asked this question. This person says, okay, I don't know much about anything, to be honest. Just a question. So if it's been established that he is connected to Epstein, is there any evidence, if there's any evidence, is that he's done any of these acts that are involved, that revolve around Epstein? Don't get me wrong here. I'm a Trump supporter, but if he was doing any of that bullshit, he can burn in hell for all I care. No place for that shit. We agree. We agree. That's the whole point. There's just too many people that are still trying to say that the people that he claims are connected to this, he used Bill Clinton's name, he used Larry Summers' name. He would not know that this information existed if he didn't have access to information that existed, which is part of the lie. This is a cover-up. You know, we know it's a cover-up. No one seems to care that it is a cover-up. So we're gonna shift gears a tiny little bit this morning. That's going to involve some maths. So don't shift in your chair.
Well,
yes.
Hold on just a second. Can I
Okay.
nerd science? Can I nerd science you for just a minute?
Sure.
And this is important for everyone. Okay. A wind turbine creates energy that is stored as electricity. A windmill mills grain. If we could please start using the right terminology, it would make me really happy, because every time I hear somebody talk about windmills, I'm like, yeah, no shit. Working windmills, maybe in Holland, not here in the United States. Just saying.
That's a good point. That's a very, very, very good point. So I'm going to play a little bit of sound for you guys. And I asked Obi if he wouldn't mind kind of digging into this a little bit, and we'll keep it high level. Because the claim that Trump made regarding the dollar, about how it's sometimes it can be good to have a low dollar. Sometimes it can be, we want the dollar to be low. We want the dollar to be high. This is the statement that he made about this. And it's just it's just wild that you're going to try to frame this in, because we know the dollar is losing value. So this is what he said. This is what he said when he was asked this question. And that's why I asked Obi to kind of help us.
Why has the dollar fallen so much? And are you concerned about that?
Well, I'm a person that likes a strong dollar, but a weak dollar makes you a hell of a lot more money. Hate to tell you, I don't know if you study it, but I study it. And if you look at the yen,
I went to Penn and worked, so I know this.
You understand?
Absolutely.
Oh, you did go to Penn?
I went to work. Yes,
well, that means you're a smarter guy than I even thought, and I know you're smart. So when we have a strong dollar, one thing happens. It sounds good. But you don't do any tourism. You can't sell tractors. You can't sell trucks. You can't sell anything. It is good for inflation. That's about it. And we have no inflation. We've wiped out inflation. But it's an interesting question. So I will never say...
We wiped out inflation. If wiping out inflation means inflation has gone up since you took office, then you, sir, wiped out inflation.
I like a low currency, but you remember the battles I had with the yuan, with China and with Japan, Japan being the yen. They always wanted a weak currency. They're trying to get a weak currency now. Now, it doesn't sound good, but you make a hell of a lot more money with a weaker dollar. Not a weak dollar, but a weaker dollar than you do with a strong dollar.
Okay, so the argument here is that it's a good thing to have a weaker dollar. And I asked Obi, and again, and you could go on for hours. I just asked him if he could just keep this simple for us and keep this high level, friends, as to why that's dangerous. First of all, to be making claims like that, because it's almost like, oh, I don't know, market manipulation, which we've already seen him do. So can you sort of unpack this a little bit for our friends, Obi, if you don't mind, buddy?
Yeah, at a high level, and the irony in his statement is that he was saying the dollar being devalued is a good thing. I would like to remind Trump that he hated quantitative easing, and he kept saying quantitative easing was ruining the value of the dollar in real estate. Well, based on the information that I sent you, Steve, if the dollar is weaker against other currencies and we're having economic problems, what does the Treasury do?
What is prints more money? Oh, quantitative eases. They quantitatively ease. Exactly.
Yes, they buy up more of bond debt to prop up the dollar. Some would call that manipulation of the currency, similar to how China does it, but China pegs theirs to a particular range of numbers. So that's a little bit different, right? So there are two things that make up the value of a dollar, not just one. And everybody gets this wrong, so don't feel bad because this is super nerdy shit. High level, there is the macro, right? That is the bond market, the treasury market, aka fixed income. That is where we sell our debt, right? And other countries come and buy our debt. That props up the dollar and makes the dollar strong. The dollar is strong in that way because the full faith and credit of the United States always being able to, one, pay the debt back, but two, pay the interest on the debt. Remember interest on the debt, because we're going to come back to this, right? The other factor is in the foreign exchange market, right? Where we buy or sell dollars in exchange for currency. And I sent Steve an article the other day that literally spoke about how the opposite is happening, right? The euro is losing value against the dollar. So right now the dollar is very strong. Trump doesn't even know where the dollar is. But to his defense, and I have to do this because I explained this to Steve, foreign currency trading happens 6 days a week, 24 hours a day. The dollar is constantly moving in value up and down. It's neither strong nor weak in the foreign currency market. That's based on demand, right? Importers and exporters, right? The bond market is where we see issues, right? Are people retreating from the value of investing in the United States, or are they flocking to the safe haven, which is the United States, right? But a weak dollar does not do any single one of the things that Trump claims, because Trump does not understand micro or macroeconomics. He does not understand the fixed income markets or the foreign exchange markets. He bases everything off of what somebody could fit on a Post-it, which has to be written in large crayon, which is probably things like, "You're good." That's it. That's the comment that he needs, right? So
ultimately, what he is saying, so to summarize, he's going to make there's so many bots in the chat today, it's crazy. He's going to whatever the position of the dollar is what is the argument that he'll take that it's advantageous, whether it's stronger or weaker. He's going to use whatever the situation is to tell his base, and they're gullible sheep, and they'll believe it, that this is what the design is. So that deal, the deal that he's bragging about regarding the EU, what's really funny is that he's touting that as the greatest deal ever. Here's the problem. The European Union has admitted it doesn't have the power to deliver on the promise to invest $600 billion in the U.S. only hours after making the pledge at the landmark trade talks in Scotland. So basically, they're just trying to throw Trump a bone here. That's because the cash would come entirely from private sector investment over which Brussels has no authority. So again, it's a lie that he's telling you that he got the EU to commit to a $600 billion investment in the U.S. It is simply not true. On Sunday, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen struck a deal to avoid an all-out EU-U.S. trade war. The deal included a pledge to invest an extra $600 billion of EU money into the U.S. over the coming years. But, speaking Monday, two senior European Commission officials clarified that money would have to come from private European companies with public investment contributing nothing. It is not something that the EU as a public authority can guarantee. It is something which is based on the intentions of private companies, said one of the senior communications official. The Commission has not said it will introduce any incentives to ensure the private sector meets a $600 billion target, nor given a precise time frame for the investment. However, the first official said that the $600 billion figure was, quote, based on detailed discussions with different business associations, but no commitments have been made. The EU did this to avoid the tariffs or to have them reduced. So they played fucking Trump again, and you guys are touting this guy as the biggest deal maker there is. Again, the statement specifically is he made the claim that the EU has agreed to invest $600 billion. Every dollar of that investment is expected to come from private institutions, private companies only. So they can't tell a private company what to do. They literally, so he's out there bragging about this, and there's nothing there. Instead, we get harmed. The American consumer gets harmed again because of the tariffs. Like, what?
And this is also not a tariff deal. Super important to remember. This does not move the needle on tariffs because tariffs are with nation states, not private industry. However, important to note, the payers of tariff taxes are private industries, right? And Trump is probably, once again, besides being just literally the stupidest person on the planet,
he's so dumb.
Is probably thinking in his mind that he just secured this money like there's a check coming.
Exactly.
Right? That he's going to deposit it in the treasury, right? The reason why he hates people who think or read is that it continues to point out that at every turn when he makes a claim that he knows something, it is really easy to point to the contrary because that also comes out of his mouth.
Exactly.
Right? He can't shut up at all, which is why the Epstein story is never going to go away.
Nope.
And the fact that he keeps lying about tariffs is never going to go away. We are not making money because there hasn't been an actual trade deal signed with a single country. Even Japan admitted they would be willing to loan money, which, by the way, goes back to the fixed income comment. Now, remember I said I would get back to the interest, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you remember the Republican senators that stood up on the floor and argued that we shouldn't pay our interest on our debt that people have purchased?
Correct. I do.
What would happen to the value of the dollar if that ever was passed into law?
It would crater.
And what would happen to our economy?
Our economy would crash because we would lose the faith and trust of the people who invest in us.
Right. And then what type of country would we have to become after capitalism dies to survive as a country?
Socialist.
Starts with it. Yes. So I am hoping, because you know how I am. I am really fucking hoping that happens, even if it's just for a decade or two. Right.
And you, my friend, and just for people who don't know, Obi's a full-fledged fucking capitalist. He doesn't want to admit it publicly, but he is.
Well, I operate in capitalism because I have no choice. And
Fair
I
enough.
make my money off of people who participate in capitalism because it's what I do for a living, right?
Same. Yeah. Yep.
But
Yep.
hey, listen.
Yeah, buddy.
I know you got bananaed a lot today with people.
Yeah.
But I want to say something to people who can be either thought of as supporters or people who like your content. When you're in the comments and you're making really derogatory comments and I respond to you and tell you to knock it the fuck off, knock it the fuck off. I saw some pretty goddamn disgusting comments from people who are supposedly on our side. And one guy had to get it. He had to be gotten rid of, right?
He had to be leaved.
He had to be leaved. We cannot be doing this. If I see you making any kind of sarcastic joke that relates to Epstein, just know two things are going to happen. Your First Amendment rights are going to disappear, and you will not be welcomed back in this space, ever. Because while Steve is a little softer than I am, fuck you for trying to take advantage of the victims and re-victimizing them by fucking making jokes. It is disgusting, and it cannot be
soft but firm. Soft but firm. I just want to clarify. Soft but firm. Just if you know, you know.
I mean, there's also After Dark, and every time I hear that comment about batteries, I literally think to myself, did Elon not touch everything? Like, how did that one guy? You know, Elon probably talks to everybody about the fucking wall batteries, which are a pretty cool technology, right? I'll give the engineers that came up with that. But for someone to literally say there's no way to store power,
I know.
I mean, think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like your cell phone stores power because you have to do what to it? You have to charge the fucking battery that's on the inside. I mean,
correct.
This is where we have gotten to as a society, is that we literally are at a place where the stupid things that stupid people say hurts our heads because we can't even see how you could say it out loud. Anyway, listen, I'm in Los Angeles.
Do it.
And I'm going to go to the HQ, and I just turned off of Wilshire Boulevard and parked. By the way, it is true. There are spots of Los Angeles that need a fucking broom and a dustpan, but you know what? I wouldn't trade it for anything. And if the people that are living the way they live don't want help and don't want to have access to things, I'm fine with that too. But I rather do it in a humane way in which we offer help on a consistent basis and make it available via universal health care, so that if they do decide one day that they need something, that it's always there. Because universal health care is the one thing that will solve all of our fucking problems here. Because that means, MAGA, I'm talking to you too. When I see you brag about not going to the doctor on these lives, because I too have a double dark secret account that I use, I'm really worried. Because I look at some of you and I think to myself, I know I'm kind of overweight, but doing something about it. And I know what health risks come with that. Especially if you're pushing 60 and an old fucking white guy. Like, get mental health help. Get physical health help. Do something. This is why we will keep pushing for universal health care. We will keep pushing not for Democrats, but for persons who have progressive ideals. Fuck political parties. Fuck the DNC. And last but not least, Hakeem Jeffries. I'm sorry, but fuck you too, bro, because you have been a colossal disappointment, and you keep standing there for the status quo, and you are no better than anybody else that came before you. And you had a chance to lead this party into the future. And what do? You can't even publicly compliment the fact that a man who ran on socialist ideals won the mayoral race in the city of New York.
Agreed.
Because you're afraid. Like, what does that say about our political party system? I'm sure Hakeem's a nice guy, but as a political operative, all he's doing is fucking all of us that want progressive things. Anyway,
correct.
I love you.
Totally agree. I love you too, buddy. Talk to you later. Be safe.
Peace.
Bye. He's right. I have very strong opinions. You know, you continue to take your APAC money, Hakeem, and you're not doing it for me. You're not propping up voices. You're not allowing people in New York who've made it very, very clear that they want a new direction. Now, whether or not Zohran Mamdani wins, I think he will, but whether or not he can get all the things that he wants to get done passed, that's a different conversation. It does require the legislature. But Hakeem, you've disappointed me. I had a lot of faith and a lot of hope in you. Now you're likely going to be the next speaker. So let's see if you listen to progressive voices within your caucus. Let's see if you listen to people who are demanding a new approach to governing, specifically as it relates to rooting out the fucking bullshit of lobbying, corporate PACs, APAC money. Okay? Okay, thank you, Obi, for doing that breakdown. Real quickly, I want to thank a few people. Thank you to Julie. Thank you, Julie, for your $5. Vicky, thank you very, very much. I appreciate you. Vicky says for all the hard work. I appreciate that. Heather, you're always great. You show up here every single day. The die has been cast, friends. You want to help support the channel? You can do that. We are crowdfunded. Okay, got a few more folks that have requested, and we'll try to get to everybody this morning if we can. Jay McCloskey, how are you today? Hello, are you there? Jay McCloskey, are you there? I guess not. I'm the progressive in your pocket. Okay, so the situation with Obama won't go away. That's fine. Let them do that. It's nonsensical. What I'm starting to really see that I really, really like actually is members of the Democratic Party. By the way, if you don't know who Jason Crow is, I really, really like him. Represents Colorado. I think he's got a future in this party. I think he speaks to things. He's a veteran. He's really smart, very well spoken. He's I really like the way he addresses things. And he goes on Fox, he goes on a Newsmax, and he goes into right-wing spaces a lot. So here he is being recently interviewed regarding the Obama situation and the assessment of the Intelligence Committee. And this is how I think you approach it if you are a member of the Democratic Party and or progressive and or independent and you go into the lion's den. And we're going to talk about Pete Buttigieg in a little bit as well, because he does this a lot. There's no one more brilliant at it than Pete does, because they attempt to throw him off his game, and he won't allow that to happen. So this is Jason Crow being interviewed on Fox.
The assessment from the Intel Committee omitted the most critical element of the report that strongly conflicted with the major judgments on Putin's intentions. Missing from the assessment was significant intelligence that a longtime Putin confidant told a sensitive contact that, quote, Putin told him he did not care who won the election. Putin asserted in either case, Russia was strategically placed to outmaneuver either one. So why would information like that be kept from the Intel Committee assessment?
Well, Shannon, let's be really clear here. There is no new information, none. Right, all the information that is sitting in the House Intelligence Committee,
new to me.
And has been.
Yeah, it's funny she said that's new to me. Well, it's because you haven't bothered to take a look. All you're doing is regurgitating bullshit, and the people who watch your show are accepting it because they're too lazy to read the information too. So not only, oh, by the way, I haven't done my daily. Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Benino, and anybody in the Trump administration. I'm Steve, also Factsstillmatter, live Monday through Friday, 8 to noon, right here on TikTok. Fuck you. Have a day.
Sitting in the Senate. It's new to you, but all of this information has been available to the House Intelligence Committee, including in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, when all these investigations and reviews were done under the first Trump administration. And let's also be really clear that we cannot conflate what's actually happening here, and we can't conflate these allegations, right? Collusion is different from saying that Russia had a clear preference, which there was bipartisan consensus and has been and remains for years. But if people didn't have this
information that Putin said he didn't have a preference, how could they make an assessment that he had taken sides if this was purposely kept from the assessment, saying he didn't?
Nothing's been purposely kept. Nothing's been purposely hidden at all. All of this information has been around for years.
It's true.
All of this information has been included in the bipartisan investigations and reviews, including the consensus, every Republican, every Democrat under the first Trump administration in the Senate that had all this information. What we know absolutely to be true is that the Russians had a preference, that they attempted to meddle in the election.
It is true that there's no evidence, and the Obama administration said very clearly, there's no evidence that Russian meddling impacted the vote count.
Those are the facts, okay? Those are the facts of the case. So I will go back and remind you guys of a few things, because the claim that Fox talking head wanted to say is that Vladimir Putin never came out and said that he preferred Donald Trump to win the election. Well, that's why we keep receipts. That's why I need a new computer, because I've got so much information. So this was the question that was asked. This was this famous Helsinki summit that we've talked about before. This goes back to the first administration. The claim that the right wants to make now, that the Tulsi Gabbard report that people have not read, that I've read, not the whole thing. I think I've got like 25 or 30 pages to go, but a lot of it's redacted, right? A lot of it's redacted. So the claim that they're trying to make is that Vladimir Putin it was never shared with the American people that Vladimir Putin preferred Russia. That's a big conspiracy theory. Okay, then let's listen. That's why we keep the receipts.
And frankly, we beat her.
Putin revealing for the first time who he wanted to win.
President Putin, did you want President Trump to win the election?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because he talked about bringing the Russian relationship back to normal, Putin said.
Was there anything behind it, or was he just being honest at that moment?
I think he was being honest, and I think he wants to cooperate with Trump. I think Trump is somebody that he thinks will do a lot of good for Russia.
There's the story right there. All right. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I wanted President Trump to win. Okay. And remember, also part of that same summit, this is the beginning of that infamous press conference. And I've got some more sound for you to play.
Between an American president and a Russian leader. Their meeting framed by Friday's Justice Department indictment of 12 Russian agents for election meddling and the judgment of U.S. intelligence agencies, including Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats, that Russia interfered. President Trump asked, who do you believe, President Putin or the U.S. intelligence community?
Think about that. An American president, okay? The global intelligence agencies, the United States intelligence agencies, right, all said that absolutely Russia interfered. There's no doubt about that. The American president was asked a question, who do you believe? Do you believe a former KGB operative who built his entire career on propaganda, misinformation, disinformation against the West to destabilize our democracy, and he's bragged about it? Or do you believe your own intelligence agencies? And this is his answer.
His answer?
People came to me, Dan Coats came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be.
And the president complimenting an offer from Putin. Instead of turning over the indicted Russian agents, Russian officials would question the agents themselves, with special counsel Bob Mueller present.
I have great confidence in my intelligence people, but I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today. And what he did is an incredible offer. He offered to have the people working on the case come and work with their investigators with respect to the 12 people. I think that's an incredible offer.
Tonight, the president's own intelligence chief, Dan Coats, shot back with a rare rebuke. We have been clear in our assessment of Russian meddling in the 2016 election, and we will continue to provide unvarnished and objective intelligence in support of our national security. Critics like former Obama CIA Director John Brennan unleashing.
Part of why Trump hates him.
Is a disgrace, and that all Americans should be ashamed of that performance of somebody who holds the title of President of the United States.
Election meddling among the flashpoints that have helped sink.
TJ, why no Mueller indictment of Trump? Because you can't indict a sitting president. That's the DOJ policy. That's your answer. Thanks for asking.
U.S.-Russia relations. Others include Russia's illegal occupation of Crimea and its backing of a Syrian regime that used chemical weapons. But this morning, President Trump blaming tensions on the U.S. and the Mueller investigation.
Again, the American president blaming the tensions that exist between Russia and the U.S. on the U.S. intelligence agencies who called out Putin, and on the Mueller report investigating whether or not Russia interfered in the election, and it was confirmed. This is mind-boggling. I remember hearing this the first time and thinking like, that's just fucking crazy. But now, after everything that we've learned and the more and more we see it, it is just mind-boggling to me that an American president deferring to Putin on every chance he gets. I've got some more sound for you.
Our relationship with Russia has never been worse thanks to many years of U.S. foolishness and stupidity. And now, the rigged witch hunt.
Our relationship with Russia, this is from Trump, our relationship with Russia has never been worse thanks to many years of U.S. foolishness and stupidity, and now the rigged witch hunt. Fucked up.
Today asked, does he think Putin bears any responsibility?
Yes, I do. I hold both countries responsible. I think that the United States has been foolish. I think that the probe is a disaster for our country.
I don't need to play anymore. It is mind-boggling to me. It is and then people wonder why we say, why does Trump constantly pay deference to Putin? So I've got a little bit more reporting for you on that. And then we're going to get into have an executive order that we haven't talked about yet. And I'm going to get into that, but I think we got some requests here. Let me just, I see Toodle. Hello, my Russian friend. How are you?
Hey, Dobry Utro. I heard Russia mentioned. I had to come up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What's on your mind today, my friend?
Well, kind of like going along with what with the reporting from Lester Holt that was from a few years back, and we see the connections that are laid out in that crazy thing that Tulsi did the other week, where she came out and talked about it. And of course we've all been talking about the blaming on Obama. What a lot of people aren't talking about is in that same report there are Russian intelligence disinformation in that report that she presented, which was that Hillary was she was drugged.
Correct.
And she had fits of rage.
Correct.
And was having trouble getting out of her car. And those were all talking points that were coming directly from our friends behind the Iron Curtain.
Correct. That's exactly right.
So literally, Tulsi was saying Russian talking points. It's just insane that they're still beholden to this.
I know.
I don't think we'll ever crack the Russia hoax thing. We all know it's what it is. We've read the reports, and we've seen the reporting from the Intelligence Committee and from the Mueller report, et cetera, et cetera. But no matter of facts is going to break that shell. I don't think. I
agree, but what I find interesting though is, like we've discussed before. First of all, collusion defined as secret or illegal cooperation or conspiracy, especially in order to cheat or deceive others. The armed forces were working in collusion with drug traffickers. Collusion between media owners and political leaders are some examples. Russia and the Trump campaign colluded. So absolutely, by definition, there was collusion between Russia, operatives specifically, members of Trump's campaign team, and others. There's no doubt about it that there was collusion. Not a crime. It is a descriptor as to what it is. Abso-fucking-lutely that there was collusion and cooperation, which again, the definition, secret or illegal cooperation or conspiracy. Secret or illegal cooperation or conspiracy. Identified in the Mueller report, confirmed in the Durham report, backed up again by the Horowitz report, confirmed by the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee. There was absolutely collusion.
Yep.
No doubt about it.
And of course, they rolled out Bill Barr, who lied about it completely and
correct
undercut the Mueller report legs even before it had a chance. And that's
correct. Exactly.
That's the narrative that they've stuck with, and they'll be with it until they perish from this earth. I swear.
You are right, my friend. And like I said, this is different than people can debate about collusion. People can debate about, the Steele dossier. And I'm going to cover that in a little bit, but you cannot debate about crimes against kids. If your entire argument, that's why MAGA is so triggered, because they are stuck. They are literally stuck. Am I going to go out there and I'm going to believe I'm going to believe a woman. First of all, I don't ever believe women, but now I'm supposed to believe a woman, and that woman was convicted of trafficking kids and abusing them, and I've got to believe her, and she's going to come out and names, and every name she's going to name is not going to be Donald Trump, and Donald Trump covered this up, and he lied about it, and there's victims that are girls, 13 or 14 or 15-year-old girls. I can't believe them, because if I believe them, that's going to defeat my narrative. That's why they're so angry.
Oh, totally. And of course, if those 100 people that Ghislaine names, when those come out, that means those names were created by Obama, Comey, and
exactly.
And the Democrats.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's the names of people that are only Democrats were created by Democrats. Exactly. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
We're self-hating, I guess, I suppose.
Exactly. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, have a good one.
You too. See you later. I want to just kind of close the Russia loop a little bit because, again, when I've looked back on this and you can see all these things like the Russian propaganda that gets constantly spewed, that Tulsi Gabbard is spewed, right? Liberal lives are desperate. Okay, cool. You're here though, but thank you. You must find me charming and devilishly handsome and supremely humble. I'll sing later for you. Just saying. Anyway, the throughputs of obvious Russian interference and the Russian propaganda that gets spewed regularly by people on the right is just mind-boggling. And then Trump's constant deference to Russia. So here's another example. So Trump moves up deadline for Putin to end Ukraine war. You know, the war that he promised that he would end 24 hours from being elected, not taking office. And now we're 6 months in, 7 months in, and it's not over yet. And just continuing as Russia has completely upped their ante. We finally got money approved. The right was said, we're going to stop funding Ukraine. And Trump's like, we're going to fund Ukraine. So make up your mind there. Anyway, President Trump's meeting with Britain's prime minister in Scotland called on Russia to stop its attacks in Ukraine in less than 2 weeks or face new sanctions. Here's the problem. We have the receipts. In late January, just 2 days after his second inaugural, Trump told Russia that if it failed to end its war in Ukraine quickly, the White House would have no other choice but to impose new economic sanctions. Putin proceeded to ignore that threat. Trump failed to follow through. In early March, it happened again. Trump gave Putin a choice, sanctions or a ceasefire. And the Russian leader again ignored his American counterpart. Trump again failed to follow through. In late March, Trump once again said he was prepared to impose economic penalties on Russia. In keeping with the pattern, Putin ignored the threat and Trump failed to follow through. In early May, for the fourth time in 4 months, Trump wrote online, if the ceasefire is not respected, the U.S. and its partners will impose further sanctions. For the fourth time, Russia expressed indifference. For the fourth time, Trump failed to follow through. In late May, amid countless headlines about how angry Trump was with Putin, the Republicans signaled he was prepared to change course in 2 weeks and didn't. In mid-June, Trump did change course, in a way. As Russia attacks against civilian targets worsened, the American president went from making hollow threats to abandoning the underlying idea behind the threats because he believes sanctions cost the United States a lot of money. To be sure, the White House's agenda is filled with reversals, and this posture might yet change again. But at least for now, those looking for evidence in support of the taco thesis, Trump always chickens out, should look no further than his truly pitiful approach to Russian sanctions. So here we are again. So there's literally been a threat of a sanction every single month since he took office. Every single time, Putin has just flipped him off. Here we are again. Are we supposed to believe it now? So he lied about the EU deal. He lied about the Japan deal. I've got sound on that. You expect people to believe that you think war would be better? Spectator, you don't get it. There's already war. What are you fucking talking about? Like, God, dude, you miss me with your nonsense. Okay, so this is interesting. So I'm going to play this sound. This is from that famous moment that he had with Jerome Powell, where Jerome Powell dunked on him, which was fabulous. At the same construction site, the reporter asked the question about the Japan deal. Buckle up for this one. If you have your decoder ring, I would suggest that you put it on because I can't interpret this one.
Economy to everybody. This was not easy. This took, a lot of people walk.
Like Japan?
Well, it depends. What Japan did is they brought down their tariffs. They gave us $550 billion because they didn't want to pay 20. They were 28%. and they gave us $550 billion up front. 100%, 500. We get 90, they get 10. 90%, they get 10. And there's no payment. It's not a loan or anything. It's a signing bonus, I call it. But they gave us $550 billion and took down the tariffs a little bit.
Here's the problem, sir. Here's the problem with your statement on that subject. It's exactly a loan. That's exactly what it is. So I don't know. Japan's $550 billion investment framework with the U.S. includes a mix of investments, loans, and loan guarantees. The investment component is expected to be 1% to 2% of the total, with the majority being loans and guarantees. The U.S. will retain 90% of the profits from this investment, ensuring that American workers, taxpayers, and communities reap the overwhelming share of the benefit. Japan's chief negotiator clarified that the investment program won't only support Japanese and U.S. firms, but other countries that strike deals with the U.S. as well. So he's literally standing there lying to you guys. Again, it is part of it. But the U.S. gets 1% of the 90% of the math. It's literally a loan. He's telling you it's not a loan, that it's a signing bonus. It is. He's telling you that the EU agreed to a $600 billion investment. And the EU's like, we can't control that. We just told Peepaw because now he reduced the tariff. So Trump lost on that deal too. Like, you guys are just so desperate. You're desperate. You want to hang something on Obama's. Go ahead. Barry's like, fine, bring it. Whatever. It doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to be in the cult. You could step away. You could step away from the cult, but you're not going to. I don't know why. Okay. Where do I want to go now? Oh, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Tapping is clapping, friends. Sharing is caring. So we briefly discussed the executive order. It's entitled Ending Crime and Disorder on American Streets. This was dated July 24th. By the authority vested in me as president and the Constitution and the laws of our states, the United States, is hereby ordered. Endemic vagrancy, disorderly behavior, sudden confrontations, and violent attacks have made our cities unsafe. The number of individuals living on the streets in the United States on a single night during the last year of the previous administration was 274,224. I can't confirm that number. I don't know where that number came from. I have no idea. So I'm just sharing you what's in this statement. It was the highest ever recorded. The overwhelming majority of these individuals are addicted to drugs. There's no evidence of that at all. Have a mental health condition, or both. Again, no evidence of that at all. A lot of people that are homeless based on circumstances, including the economy. Homelessness, houselessness has factors. Oftentimes people who are houseless, sadly, fall into addiction. And obviously, if you're houseless, your mental health situation is going to be severely and negatively affected. I am fucking tired of blaming people that are victims of the system. I am so fucking tired of conservative rhetoric blaming people who are houseless. 15%, I think it's actually higher than that. We'll say 15% of the houseless population are veterans. Okay? 15%, roughly speaking. It's at least that. I am so fucking tired of victims of our system being blamed for shit. I am so fucking tired of the dehumanization that comes from the fucking Christian right, claiming that you care about people. You motherfuckers are the most hypocritical, nonsensical, arrogant pieces of shit that I've ever met. And now you are cheering this on? Y'all are one paycheck away from being houseless. You understand that, right? There are people in our community that are houseless. And we want to blame them? It's their fault? People make bad choices. I get it. That happens. But are you fucking kidding me? This continues. The overwhelming majority of those individuals are addicted to drugs, have a mental health condition, or both. Nearly 2/3 of homeless individuals report having regularly used hard drugs like meth, cocaine, opioids, or whatever. An equally large share of homeless individuals reported suffering from mental health conditions. Yeah, no shit. The federal government and states have spent tens of billions of dollars on failed programs that address homelessness, but not its root causes, leaving other citizens vulnerable to public safety threats. Root cause for me, you want to help solve this problem? I believe in safe needle sites. I believe in treatment centers. I believe in funding public health programs so that people can get the help that they need. You want to talk about root cause? Then stop fucking blaming the people who are victims of it and start trying to solve the fucking problem. This goes for moderate conservative Democrats as well. Get your head out of your fucking ass and stop using houseless people as tokens and solve the fucking problem. You could do it. Solve the problem. I am so tired of people being demonized because of their life circumstances that were likely created by the system that we live in. Enough of this bullshit. I shared this story with you, this basically wanting to lock people up. The Attorney General, and in consultation with the Secretary of Health and Human Services, shall take the appropriate action. Seek, in appropriate cases, the reversal of federal or state judicial precedents and the termination of consent decrees that impede the United States' policy of encouraging civil commitment of individuals with mental illness who pose risks to themselves or the public or are living on the streets and cannot care for themselves in appropriate facilities for appropriate periods of time. Provide assistance to state and local governments through technical guidance, grants, or other legally available means for the identification, adoption, and implementation of maximally flexible civil commitments, institutional treatment, and step-down treatment. Fighting vagrancy. The Attorney General and the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the Secretary of HUD, and the Secretary of Transportation shall take immediate steps to assess their discretionary grant programs and determine whether priority for those grants may be given to the grantees in states. Enforce prohibitions on open use of drugs in public, enforce prohibitions on urban camping and loitering, and then enforce prohibitions on urban squatting. Now, when we talked about this leading up to the election, all you fucking apologists for this level of hatred towards people used to accuse me of being of fear-mongering. Well, here's the problem. When Mr. Trump's own words tell you exactly what he's going to do, and it's pulled directly from Project 2025, that's why we talk about it. So again, I literally just read to you the statement from his executive order enforcing prohibitions on urban camping and loitering. Okay, that's fine. Here's the sound.
Ban urban camping wherever possible. Violators of these bans will be arrested, but they will be given the option to accept treatment and services if they're willing to be rehabilitated. Many of them don't want that.
Wow.
But we'll give them the option.
Okay.
We will then open up large parcels of inexpensive land, bring in doctors, psychiatrists, social workers, and drug rehab specialists, and create 10 cities where the homeless can be relocated and their problems identified. But we'll open up our cities again, make them livable and make them beautiful.
So guess what? Your boy was right from the beginning. You all said, you MAGA chuds, you mouth breathers, you fucking maxed out, you capped out in middle school. You said that this was fear-mongering, that he would never do such a thing. And the executive order signed this week entitled Ending Crime and Disorder on American Streets is exactly what I just played for you. It's bigger than this, though. In my opinion, it's bigger than this. Because you are creating these internment camps. And what do you get from that? You get cheap labor, which is the substitute, the people that have been deported illegally from our country. So we're gonna arrest the houseless population. We're going to arrest them. We are going to put them in internment camps, and they are going to be the cheap labor to supplement the immigrants that are being deported. Am I wrong about that? Am I wrong? Is that a stretch? Why would we think that's not the case? Exactly. What was the comment that Trump made talking about farmers, giving farmers the control over some of the immigrants that have been working to support their farm, giving farmers the ability to control their workers? Indentured servitude, anyone? Am I wrong about that? What you're gonna do what? A simple fix to this problem? is subsidized housing, treatment centers, safe injection sites. I believe in all that shit. I believe in all that shit. You want to treat the problem, then treat the fucking problem. You want to treat people with mental health disorders and substance use disorder, then treat them. Treat them. Treatment works. There are studies that have been done on safe injection sites and what that does. Treat the problem. Don't blame the people who are subjected to it. The more and more people that, again, there's reporting now about electricity bills because of this just nonsense with LNG, liquid natural gas, and about how people's electricity bills are going to spike like fucking crazy. Things like that are going to force people out of their homes. Force people out of their homes. Like, what? And what's going to happen? Are those people part of the problem too? There's been plenty of times in my life where I was like, shit, man, I got to pick up another job. I'm going to work 5 jobs now so I can pay my bills. This is what it's like now. People are facing being evicted from their homes. Don't forget, there were protections put in during the Biden administration, capping bank fees, right? They removed those. The president wants to gut the Consumer Fraud Protection Bureau. That peeled back money for people. The National Labor Relations Board wanting to gut that as well to provide protections for employees. Changes to classifications for employees. It could change that employees could now be considered independent contractors, depending on who you are. If you're an hourly employee, you might now be considered an independent contractor. What does that do? That makes you I-9. That means you lose protections as an employee, potentially benefits, which means then the whole issue with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, that just goes away. It's all part of the strategy. You guys are the smartest chat on TikTok. What do I always tell you? Follow what? Because this is exactly what this is about. Follow the fucking money. Pay for profit prisons, cheap labor with these internment camps, kicking people off of their Medicaid and Medicare so they're more poor. They fall victim to all kinds of shit, right? You think I'm fucking crazy? Okay. You can think that if you want to. It's fine. You can think whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. We know we know what's in front of us, which is why we're going to talk about it every day. Every day. Everybody keep tapping and sharing. Don't forget, we're $111 away from our maybe we can bang that out today. That'd be great. Lola, looks like you're not connecting, friend. Do you want to request again? There you go. There you are. You're back. Hi. Oh, you dropped. You can request again if you want to, Lola. New Bomb Turk, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
You.
Uh-oh. I know I'm handsome, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
You're full of fucking misinformation. You're talking.
What did I say that was What did I say? Dude.
Treatment for one.
What did I say? What did I say was misinformation? What did I say?
Treatment for one does not work for all people. Secondly, all this shit you just sat up there and touted about people being taken off this and people being taken off. What the fuck is the matter with you, dude? Did you
read the bill?
It's called beneficiaries. Do you know what a fucking beneficiary is?
No, I don't know what a beneficiary is, but I know what a beneficiary is.
Okay, honestly, dude. Let's look at those fucking people. Let's take a good look at those fucking people. Do you think those people really deserve the majority of that shit?
What people? What people, Newborn?
What you just fucking said. Obviously, maybe I said it wrong.
The people that are houseless?
Beneficiarying it from it? Yeah, that are benefiting from it? Yeah.
Benefiting from what?
You know what the fuck you're talking about, bro.
Dude, why are you so angry? Can you have an adult conversation or do you just need to yell?
It's people like you that tout out this complete misinformation that you touted out to people that have no idea what the fuck is going on.
I still haven't heard any misinformation.
Everything
what did I say that was
everything you said, sir, was a goddamn lie.
So I read the crime and disorder on America's streets from the White House. That was the executive order. So is that misinformation?
Not said that.
Okay, that's what I read. And then I played the sound from Donald Trump, which confirmed the fact that he was
talking about. What you're talking about, man, is you're talking about people that belong on the system or don't belong on the system. People that deserve to be on the fucking welfare system or not to deserved on the welfare system.
What makes somebody deserving of being on this?
Because
what
I'm
makes
telling you what I see all the fucking time.
Can you calm down a second?
No,
just calm
because
down.
I'm sick of
you don't need to. You
like
don't need to. You don't need to be. You don't need to be yelling.
Oh, I can be whatever the fuck I want to be. That's how I authenticate myself.
That's how you authenticate yourself. Can you do me a favor? Let's hold on. Let's talk. Let's start again. Okay, let's start again. What did you have for breakfast today?
What do you mean? What I have for fucking breakfast? What
Nobody
everybody
fucking cares. I've been doing that for years, and I still love it. It's great. Can you imagine? Can you just imagine being that angry that you come in and start yelling? It's so wild. He's big mad. Madam, how are you? How are you today?
Oh my God. Hi.
Yes. Hi, Gumdrop. How are you?
I'm okay. I just wanted to jump up here and be a sane person. And I didn't want to crash out. And I've been counting them. Like, what is that, 6 already this morning?
Something like that.
I appreciate
okay.
you. I love your lives.
Thank you.
Keep fighting for us, please.
I'm on it. I got you. Thank you for saying that.
And stay away from trolls like that. Oh my.
Well, you never know. Like I don't go through the chat. I just pull people up as they request. Yeah. So you never know what you're going to get. But we took them out with the trash. It's fine. Thank you for jumping. Thank you for jumping in today. I appreciate you very much. You too. Thank you. See you later. Bye. Yeah. So fucking wild. And he's back. And he thinks I'm going to bring him back up again. It's so funny. Oh, it's so hilarious. My gosh. I don't know what a beneficiary is. Hi, Kay.
Hi. I love your lives.
Thank you.
I direct messaged you. I wanted to ask you if you could help me crowdfund to stop the eviction process that has started for me.
Why don't you message I'm going to mute you for a second because you got a bad echo. Why don't you message us? I think you might have echoed. Message us on Discord. We will do that. We've got a mutual aid channel in our Discord, and we're happy to put your information in there. And I'm sure our mods will reach out to you to try to help with that. Okay. But you have a lot of background noise, which is why I muted you. So hopefully you caught that. But if you want to, you sent me a message somewhere. I'm sure I'll find it, and we'll put that into the mutual aid channel in our Discord. Okay. Sound good, Kay?
I have to download Discord, or how does that work?
You can just join it. You got a bad echo. I'm gonna have to drop you, Kay, so you can just listen from the chat because you have a bad echo. You can join the Discord. The link to the Discord. This goes to everybody. The link to the Discord. It's free to join. You can go to the web version by going to the link tree that's in my bio and just clicking on that. You go through the verification steps, and then you'll see the mutual aid channel in there. And then if you have information specifically that are what you're in need, then you can post that information in the mutual aid channel. So that'd be my recommendation. Okay. Deuce is wild. Update the app. Okay. Deuces, how are you today?
I'm good. Sorry, I've never done this before, but I just wanted to make a quick statement. It seems everyone's complaining about Medicaid, and actually Medicare is going to be cut via the PAYGO Act of 2010. I think once the deficit gets to a certain point, which was what Trump's doing, they're going to cut 4% of Medicaid, which equals out to about $520 billion. So all these cuts equal out to about $2 trillion. Yet these same Republicans have no problem paying for approximately $3.2 trillion in these tax cuts for the rich. I think it's like 14%, which go towards the rich, a little bit less than 1% that will actually help us. So they have no problem with those tax cuts and freebies going to the rich, this corporate welfare, which is going to add approximately $3 trillion to the deficit. No problem paying for that. And Democrats offered amendments to not give tax breaks to people making over 400,000, people making over $1 million, people making over $1 billion. And Republicans shot all of those down. They could have just given tax breaks and cuts for the working class. They chose not to do it. So I just want to know why these people have no issue with paying for 3.2 trillion of the 4.5 or something for the total tax cut package. Why they have no problem paying for that corporate welfare, but have an issue with helping out their own. I don't know how to jump down off of here. If you could put me back down, but I just had that question.
I appreciate you asking. Thank you so much for that. That is the question of the day. That is the whole argument about waste, fraud, and abuse, that they're fine with a $450 million jet from Qatar that's going to require $900 million roughly to retrofit. They're fine with that. Totally fine with Trump going to Scotland. Hold on 1 second. Let me just deal with this. They're fine with that. They're fine with Trump going over there to talk about the future of his golf course on the American taxpayer. They're totally fine with that. Totally fine with cutting funding for public television and NPR. Totally fine with that. Totally fine with cutting benefits for kids who need SNAP. They're totally fine with all that. Totally fine. It's no problem to see here because we care about kids, right? Yeah, they think they're included. Exactly. They're dumb. They're stupid. I'm so frustrated by these people. Okay. All right. This is where do I want to go now? We addressed that. Okay. I've been wanting to get to this sound for a while because there's this claim that Trump has been running with, and we're not done talking about Epstein. We'll wrap up on my final pitch on this before we end today. He's been talking about how we're receiving billions of dollars inbound like every single day. Now, again, those of us who are bright enough to understand this know that any money that we're receiving inbound is coming out of the back of the consumer because we're the ones that are paying the tariff. They don't want to accept that, but that's just the reality of it. So Jessica Tarloff, again, doing the work. She's out there, reminding people about certain things, and she has her spot on the 5 every single day, and she's up there fighting, and she brings up this really interesting point. I'm going to follow that up with something. So this is Jessica Tarloff.
We had favored nations with the EU being about 1% import. So 15% is a lot more than 1%. And I rarely say that I wish somebody else would take my seat, at least for this segment. But I wish Charlie Gasparino was sitting here right now to explain to Jesse again how tariffs work, because it is a tax on the American consumer. The American consumer knows that. That's why they don't rate Trump particularly highly on how to handle inflation, cost of living, tariffs, and trade wars. And you also see headlines like Walmart raising prices up to 51%. They're doing that because they're not going to eat the tariff. They're going to pass it on to you. Volkswagen, profits down $1.5 billion. GM, profits down $1 billion. Why is that? Because of these trade wars that Donald Trump created. Now, there is this $20 billion in revenue that's coming in, right? I've seen the headlines. I've seen the panicans backing off. But if it weren't going to be a clear line to raising your individual prices, why is Donald Trump and Josh Hawley now wants to get in on it, talking about rebate checks for the American public? They want another opportunity for Donald Trump to smack his signature, which has been all over the place as we've seen recently,
not
on
with an
another
auto pen.
rebate, not with an auto pen, on rebate checks so that the American public won't hate him for the fact that he is.
All this shit that she's talking about is absolutely true. Now, for them to kind of cover their asses, to realize that they are driving price hikes, industries that he promised would be propped up, like the auto industry, hemorrhaging. Now they're talking about, well, I'm going to give you guys rebate checks. It's our fucking money that we've had to spend because of the tariff wars that you fucking lost. So this is a great break. Again, this is like the Doge checks, right? We're going to get the Doge checks. Trump went on the record saying you're going to get Doge checks. Elon Musk said the same thing. Do you guys ever get that? But by the way, hey, MAGA, if you're listening, I'm gonna talk quietly. Actually, can I do this? No, I don't need. Listen, here's the thing. If the government sends you a check, that would be socialism. So if you get a check from the government, a rebate check from the tariffs, then you're not going to cash it, right? You're going to send it back, right? Because you don't want that money. So I can make a suggestion for you. Instead of sending it back, why don't you just cash it and then donate it to Planned Parenthood or to the Trevor Project or things like that? Because I don't think you want to go on the record as being somebody who took a government handout now, would you? I wouldn't either. I'll just keep that little secret between us and 1,300 people. Okay? Thanks. Thanks for playing. Appreciate you.
What's good, little twin?
How you doing? What's going on today?
Yo.
You have something you want to say?
Yeah, so like, what do you mean like, so what is like this whole like background going on with?
Because Donald Trump can't stop thinking about Barack Obama.
Why is
He's
that?
jealous of him.
Why is that?
Because he talks about him every day.
Every single day. Low key, I've been watching like the news kind of ish, and like be watching his TikTok count. I haven't heard him talk about him in a minute. I don't really see him talk about Obama
in a minute. Do you ever read his True Social posts? He just a couple of days ago, he asked for Barack Obama he accused him of committing treason, and he wants him arrested and thrown in jail. That would be talking about a former president. You think that's okay?
I don't think that's okay. I think probably like if it was like more than 5 years ago, I feel like nah. But I feel like if it's within the 5 years, I feel like yeah, prosecute him.
What? For what? What are we prosecuting him for?
If he actually committed the crime of treason.
Well, what crime?
I don't know. I don't really go in too deep in that.
So you don't know much, is what you're saying?
I know. I would say I'm pretty educated in like more other stuff than what's going on with Obama and Trump.
So like, what are you educated in?
I'll say a lot of things. Even when we name a couple, I could do it if you want me to.
Well, you requested, so
because I was trying to understand more about what you meant by Trump, like Obama's living rent free, and Obama been living rent free.
Donald Trump has been talking about Barack Obama for 15 years. He's one of the ones that initially kicked off the whole birther movement, claiming that Barack Obama wasn't a citizen. You forget about that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So then Obama lives rent free in Trump's head. Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, I'll say I voted for Trump. Not really, because I was 18 at the time, but I'll say I'm a Trump supporter.
Are you still a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I am.
So do you think that he's on the Epstein list?
I don't think so. There's no proof of the Epstein list even being real.
There is though. We actually have proof.
There's flight logs. Yeah, I will agree. There's flight logs, but there's no. There's been no proof of a Epstein list.
That's not true at all, man. That's not true. We know that's true because Pam Bondi, the Attorney General that Donald Trump appointed for that position, along with Todd Blanche, who's the Deputy DA, told Donald Trump that he's included in the information that they uncovered. So I don't know why you would think that the information doesn't exist.
Okay, so they told Trump and Trump told us, or how'd that go?
No, they told Trump back in May. They told Trump back in May that they found his name in some of the information that they had. So then shouldn't that tell you that?
That's not proof.
What?
I said what proof is. I didn't ask about Trump. I said what proof is the Epstein list ever even real? I said
that's
that
the
proof.
That's the proof.
That would defeat the whole purpose of.
But that's the proof, though.
It's going to be the whole proof of this is supposed to be really discreet. No one's supposed to know anything about this.
But that's the proof.
Can you stop talking over me, please? Can you stop talking over me? So
no, that's the proof.
Stop telling me, please.
That's the proof, my guy. That the proof is
I didn't ask
because
about Trump.
they told him that he's.
I said, what proof about the Epstein list? And you brought up Trump.
I just told you.
It seems like Trump is
No,
living rent free.
I told you that you said the list doesn't exist. I just told you.
And you brought up Trump. Who asked about Trump? I said the list. What proof is the list is real?
I gave you an example as to how the list is real because Pam Bondi and
they just gave me a statement. That doesn't give.
Dude, be quiet. Shut your mouth. I'm putting a sock in it. The proof is that the Justice Department told Donald Trump that they found his name in these files. That's proof that the information exists.
It is.
What I want to know is, why are you defending him?
I'm not defending him. I'm asking if there's proof that the list is real and he's in the list. I would completely agree. I'll be like, he's a disgusting person.
There's proof.
Right now, what proof?
I just explained it to you. Do you need me to explain it again?
Explain it again. And give me actual proof. Don't give me a statement. Okay, go.
I'm giving you the actual proof.
Give me
dude, then shut your mouth, and I will.
Give me some proof.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
I'm not talking. Go ahead.
Cool. The actual proof. There are many ways. There's numerous examples. First, information was released last year that included flight logs, contact information.
Yeah, I just said that. I really said that.
I'm not talking. I'm not done talking. Shut up.
Who was you talking to?
I'm talking to you. Stop.
You're not talking to me, old ass nigga. Who?
Just get the fuck out of here. Just get the fuck out of here. I knew that was coming. Jesus. My God. Oh, they're so desperate. Hi, Nola. How are you today?
Hi, how are you? I just want to comment on that black guy that just spoke. I am just surprised. I'm black myself, and I'm so surprised at the number of black men that support Trump. And I think I know the reason why. I think most of these men live vicariously through Trump because Trump shows the type of cruelty that they wish they had the power to. So a lot of them, even though their socioeconomic background does not reflect that of Trump, they still totally identify with him. So there's no need trying to argue with them. They're diehard Trump fans. And that number is growing just like more and more. I just want to say that.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I've heard it referred to as proximity to power, right? I've heard that statement used, and that kind of makes sense to me because I've always tried to, as part of an after action review, I'm like, why would these particular groups, like veterans, members of LGBTQIA, women, and members of the BIPOC community, why would any of them individually support what Donald Trump is? And I understand that not every group votes as a monolith, but that's one that always kind of stood out to me. And I think the statement that you made is true. And it seems like there's this, that they want to be able to speak down or talk down or belittle people. And maybe they love that Trump does that all the time and they feel like they're part of it, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Crazy.
That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate you, Nola. Thanks a lot for being here. Have a good day. I think that's got a lot to do with it, to be honest. I mean, I think that's got a lot to do with it. I guess we'll see, though. We've had some interesting guests today. Good morning, Dewey. How are you?
Oh, I am fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
Well, everybody talks about the tariffs and how they're going to increase prices. And yes, you're right. They're going to increase prices. At the same time as they increase prices, corporations are going to show larger profits. And that's because corporations run off a I'm sorry, I'm having trouble bringing things up. I have some mental problems.
Okay, take your time.
They work off profit margins.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a 30% profit margin on $10, and then the cost goes up, and now you're paying you're getting 30% off $15. Your profit margin stays the same, and your profit goes up.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty simple way to describe it. So don't forget, corporations have responsibilities to their shareholders, right? So if you make an earnings call, projections for profit for that particular quarter, it's based on lots of maths, right? So corporations are not going to eat the increase by the tariff. They're just going to raise the prices. We know that. It's basic economics. Now they may not add every, like if it's a 20% tariff, it may not be a 20% price hike, but they're still going to be marching towards their profit projections. So it's just sadly this is where we are.
Yeah, as prices go up, okay, the more money they make.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly
and the more
right.
profit they make off that money.
Exactly. Yep, that's why we say follow the money. I appreciate you jumping in today, Dewey. Thanks for being here, friend.
You're welcome.
Talk to you later. I don't know if people get that just yet. They're about to. I don't know. I'll find out. Deadstroke, how are you today?
Hey, how you doing, my friend?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind? Yeah.
Did critical thinking go out the door when Trump became president? The reason why I ask that is this young man just asked you, where's the proof? Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Think about it. If this was Obama and they said, and basically the common sense is this guy sues everyone. Trump sue everyone. Why didn't he sue Epstein? Why didn't he sue the women who accused him?
Well, he did in some cases, but you're right. So to answer your question, lack of critical thinking has existed for a very, very long time. It's just been amplified under Trump and because of platforms like this.
Jeez, they're so quick to defend this guy when it's so obvious. The other thing is the Maxwell thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he send his personal attorney to question her? Why aren't they questioning the victims?
Exactly.
That's all I wanted to say, buddy. I mean, this is all just frustrating. I mean, this is just common sense. And they will defend him. Once it comes out, they will defend him.
They absolutely will.
Ridiculous. All right. All right. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I appreciate you, Deathstroke. Thank you very much. I just followed you. Appreciate you being here. He's right. That's exactly the issue that we're trying to fight back against, right? So, let's see this comment. I'll bring up this person. And I've got a couple more things, then we'll wrap. Gen X Patriot, how are you today?
I'm very well. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to echo what you were saying.
Got a lot of background noise, my guy. Can you stay stationary?
Yep. Let me stand still. So I'll make it short because of that too. So on your point about the tariffs and increasing prices, we have seen, yes, it is true that they will make more profit if they keep the same profit margin. But we have seen a very recent example that corporations will not just pass along the cost of the increase. During the inflation crisis that we just kind of made our way out of, it was proved that these corporations were raising it above and beyond the increased cost of their supply. Right?
Kroger got busted for price gouging. Lots of others. Yep.
So right. So when Walmart says, "Yeah, we're going to raise prices up to 50%," that's what they're doing. They're telling the consumer, "Yeah, we're about to really screw you," right? And Trump supporters are like, "Oh yes, let me bend over, Daddy."
Right, the cause and effect, though, right? They've responded publicly by saying, due to tariffs, we are raising our prices now because Walmart gets their products from lots of places, so they're going to probably land on a tariff number or a price increase number that's going to cover all of the various importers that they get product from, right? So,
well, that's true.
Yeah.
But let's not forget that in the specific case of Walmart, they actually are so large that they get to dictate terms to their suppliers, right?
Correct.
You will sell this to us for X amount or we won't buy from you. We won't spend the $100 million contract that we want to sign with you, right?
That's exactly right.
That's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate that, friend. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
All right.
You got it. Have a good day. It's a fair point. You know, like this is why we always say it's the 1%, right? Corporate fucking greed. Here's the reality of what he pointed out, and this is a really good point. Corporations will use tariffs to justify raising their prices, right? So case in point, Walmart, whatever the number was, 25, 30, 40%, going to make this broad brushstroke across the board. They're going to raise their prices to a point where they're going to price many people out of their stores, because we already know that people depend on Walmart. People depend on, consumable goods, that we are a consumption society, service-based society. As prices go up, the justification will be that it's going up because of tariffs. The Trump administration understands that. They know they when they stand there and tell you that the country that we're putting the tariff on pays it's just fucking nonsense. They know that a lot of the people behind their movement, a lot of their big pocket donors, big box stores, people connected to the largest retailers, fund the Trump campaign. So those people, those corporations, those CEOs are enriching themselves on the back of the American consumer. How do they compete with online, Amazon, Temu? That's TJ. You're almost there, my guy. How do they compete? The reason. Oh my God, dude! You literally just walked into the whole point. You can't use tariffs from a blanket perspective to try to lower prices. It doesn't work that way. It's exactly the opposite. And the lies about manufacturing coming back to America is a lie again in and of itself. It's not going to happen. We could spend a whole time talking about this. I don't want to go too deep down that road, but case in point, Walmart. We know the U.S. auto industry is already reporting billions of dollars lost in the first quarter of the year. We're going to get the GDP numbers tomorrow, most likely, for the second quarter. We know that the economy contracted in the first quarter, first time in 47 months, because Joe Biden had a positive economic growth in every single month that he was a president. So the first quarter that Donald Trump takes over, we see the economy contract, and it's likely going to happen again. So can you believe the numbers? Can you believe the numbers? Well, yeah. I mean, you can believe, because there are measures that go into this. It's not just about the Department of Labor statistics, but there are numbers, right? So we'll find out about that tomorrow. Anyway, you're getting ripped off and they're laughing at you while they're ripping you off. So yeah, good luck with that. All right, let me, I'm probably not going to get to the rest of the guests in there. Sorry, guys. I just want to do a couple things here. We've got some news about Bobo. Let's not forget that Bobo still serves in government. And I would like you to listen to this statement from the Brainiac. And then we'll talk about how, Lauren Boebert is such a dedicated parent. She's such a model for what it's like to be, a working mom in America, who believes that mom should be spending more time with her kids to raise them the right way. We'll get into that in just a second. But this is Bobo. This is what Bobo thinks her job is. Okay?
My job as your representative, as a congresswoman, is not to make sure that you are healthy and safe in every.
Okay, just so we're clear, people in Colorado, Lauren Boebert just said, my job as a congresswoman is not to make sure that you are healthy and safe. Okay.
Aspect of your life. If so, I'd probably send you a Peloton and a gym membership, and then make sure you're buckling your seatbelt every time you get in a car. Maybe I prevent you from even being in the car. But my job is to keep you free.
I'm sorry, Bobo, what was that?
My job as your representative, as a congresswoman, is not to make sure that you are healthy and safe in every aspect of your life. If so, I'd probably send you a Peloton and a gym membership, and then make sure you're buckling your seatbelt every time you get in a car. Maybe I prevent you from even being in the car. But my job is to keep you free.
Your job, Lauren Boebert, is to honor the Constitution and stand up for your representatives. And in many cases, that would involve keeping them healthy and safe. Lauren Boebert. So, Lauren, the question I have for you is, while you're out trying to get clicks and sound bites on Fox News and attempting to plan your career after politics, if you have one, why are you not paying attention to what's happening at home? The reason I ask is because your son was just charged with child abuse in an incident that she described as a miscommunication. Child Protective Services met with the family after the alleged incidents. Rep. Lauren Boebert's son has been charged with child abuse following an incident involving her grandson that she described as a miscommunication. Tyler Boebert, 20, the eldest son of the MAGA congresswoman, was cited for criminal negligence where no death or injury occurred, which is a misdemeanor. For the July 11th incident, according to Windsor Police Department, records obtained by the Denver Westward. Authorities have not yet shared details about the incident, which the 38-year-old congressman brushed off as a miscommunication on monitoring my young grandson that recently led him to getting out of the house. In a statement, the congresswoman described her son's legal trouble as a one-time incident, noting there was no injury or physical abuse involved. Child Protective Services met with the family, the congresswoman added. It's not the first run-in with the law that her 20-year-old son, whose girlfriend became pregnant with his child when he was just 17 years old. In September 2022, Tyler Boebert flipped his father's SUV into a creek, leaving the person in the passenger seat with multiple concussions and a severely lacerated hand. He was ticketed for careless driving. The case was eventually dropped down to a defective vehicle for headlights ticket under a plea deal. Then in January 2024, he called the police to report that his father, Jason, was assaulting him, leading to his arrest. During the incident, Jason allegedly pushed Tyler to the ground and pushed his thumb into his mouth, according to the arrest affidavit. A month later, Tyler was slapped with more than a dozen felony charges for a series of thefts from vehicles and using stolen credit cards at a local gas station. Tyler Boebert pled guilty last October to a single charge of attempting to commit identity theft and was given a 2-year deferred judgment, allowing his felony to be cleared from his record after completing his 24-month probation. He was required to complete 80 hours of community service and was banned from using controlled substances. It was not immediately clear whether the most recent citation would be a breach of his probation. And let's not forget that Jason, Lauren Boebert's husband, got popped for exposing himself to young girls at a bowling alley. Lauren Boebert got her seat because she ran unopposed. I'll say that again. Lauren Boebert got her seat initially in Congress because she ran unopposed. If you live in Colorado, and she's going to be in a fight for her seat this time around, it seems like it. Please, you know what to do. Please. 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 Steel City, how are you today?
Fine. Trump owns you.
He does? How does Trump own me?
Because he lives rent-free in your head every single day.
Does he?
Yes. Look at what you're doing right now. Look at what you're doing right now.
So I'm a political content creator, so I should not talk about the president?
You should get a real job.
I have a real job.
This is not it, bro.
I know it's not. I have a company.
What company
do you do for work? What do you do for work?
What company do you run?
What do you do for work?
I work.
What do you do?
Why does it matter to you what I do?
Well, I don't think you have a job. Why are you wasting your time on TikTok?
Why are you wasting your time talking about Trump like anyone cares what you have to say?
People do care what I have to say. There's 1,300 people in here who care what I have to say. What are you doing right now? Aren't you here on TikTok?
No.
What about you? What about you?
No,
are you not an idiot?
We are laughing at you.
Are you?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So a political content creator should not talk about politics?
Dude, no one cares about your opinion.
I think a lot of people do, actually.
No.
Can you do me a solid? Do me a favor. Let's start again. What did you have for breakfast today?
Nothing.
Nobody fucking cares. Like, what? I'm just trying to imagine. I'm trying to imagine myself if I were on the other side of this, right? If I were a MAGA, like I play the part well when I have my multiple backups. I play my part very, very well. But I'd have to be like 30 or 40 or 50 points dumber. I would have to probably wear a fanny pack, white socks with Crocs. I'd probably have a, truck nuts I would probably drive to work with my koozie filled with Kool-Aid that's probably orange, and I would not have a clue, because I can only imagine people like that are so desperate for attention that they've got nothing better to do. I don't have 50 points to give up. Okay. Diddy Sisson, what a stupid ass username. Like, why would you even expect to get attention from your Diddy Sissonness? Because no, you're not coming up. You're just not. Nice try though. All right. The last thing I will leave you with today is is there one more thing? I feel like there's something else I wanted to play. Did I not cover that? We went through that with Obi. We did this, the evidence list. We did that. We played the Russian sound, which is fucking crazy. I played that. Option. Played that. 24 hours. Yeah. Okay. 2 weeks. Yeah, we did that. We did the breakdown. I think I got that covered. Okay. I got it covered. We'll bring up Iowa. Guys, if we could try to bang out, there's like 1,000 people in here. Everybody gave $1.50. We could bang it right out. Iowa, how you doing, friend?
Good morning, Steve. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. What's going on?
Oh, just got a couple quick points, and then I got to do capitalism like yourself. Real quick, I am very glad to hear earlier this morning. I've been in and out of your live this morning, unfortunately, because work's been kind of hectic this morning. But I'm glad to see that you kind of came around to agreeing with me. I know we kind of had a little bit of a debate / headbutt session last week when DOJ said, yeah, we're giving limited immunity and talking to Maxwell. And I was like, yep, pardon's already done. So I'm kind of glad to hear you came around to that reasoning. But
if I approached that as if I disagreed, maybe I just wasn't there yet. But yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
Okay. Well, it was one of those things where it seemed like we weren't on the same page, which is kind of a rarity in and of itself, honestly. I got mad respect for you, so.
Appreciate that. We just got flagged for harassment. That's kind of funny, right?
Right. I'm sorry, butthurt feelings are not a reportable offense. But,
I guess, and I'm thinking back to the conversation. I think I know what you're talking about now. I guess when I said that he can't pardon her, I guess what I'm talking about is in the court of public opinion. Like, you can't. There's no way. There's no spin. There is no spin possible for him to stand in front of the American people and say, "I pardon Ghislaine Maxwell because she was a victim in this." Maybe that's what I was thinking. But either way, we're here now, right?
Right. And I would agree. In public opinion, there's no way he's going to get past that. But from a criminality aspect, which is the approach I was coming from, is I was like, most certainly he can pardon her and most likely will. For her to go in front of Congress and say, no, he's not on the list. And by the way, throw in a couple Democrat names, maybe a big billionaire tech bro, and then call it good. So that's my suspicion. Couple things really quick, just touching base on things you guys covered earlier. I will have to give Donald Trump credit on the, and by the way, 2 pushbacks on Obi's point. There are windmills in the United States of America. Just side note.
That is true. There's one not far from me, as a matter of fact. There definitely are windmills here, but I appreciate his perspective on that. Yes, wind turbines as opposed to windmills. Yes,
I get it. I just have to give Obi some shit every once in a while. The other point, a major unfactual statement that Obi made. He stated that Donald Trump is the dumbest person in the country or on the planet. I don't remember which one he stated, but unfortunately that is factually incorrect because his supporters are more stupid than he is.
I knew where you were going. Yeah, I agree. That's right.
So there's that aspect. But I will give Donald credit on one point that he made when he was talking about the wind turbines. As far as the recycling process thereof, because of the fact that there's fiberglass and resin in them, they are not super great as far as the environment is concerned when you put them in the ground. So I will give him credit for that being actually factually correct. But for the rest of it, it is far cleaner energy than coal, even natural gas. So again, it's a net positive for the environment. I'm not gonna deny the fact that there is a negative, but comparatively, the positives outweigh the negatives there. So
totally agree.
Just,
totally agree.
Everybody says I can never give Donald credit, for anything or say anything positive about it. Yeah, Steve, you've known me for a couple of years now. I will
buddy.
give credit is due, and if he says something correct, I'll give him credit for it. Now, it's not very often.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Like credit from the first administration when he raised abuse against animals from a misdemeanor to a felony. I fully supported that, no doubt about it. Yep,
I wholeheartedly agree. I always say that's one of the very few positives that came of his first term. So the other thing I wanted to touch base on real quick when it comes to the tariffs and everything else, even to this day, we still hear MAGA arguing that the other countries are paying the tariffs, and that's just factually incorrect. Anybody that graduated high school has taken an economics class, and it's clearly stated tariffs are indeed inflationary. Now, what's really funny is the argument you see right now from them is that, these tariffs are going into effect and the prices aren't going up. Well, first of all, did Donald Trump delay these tariffs?
Yes, multiple times.
So isn't it August 1st when they're actually supposed to go into effect?
A lot of them. Yep, exactly.
So once that actually happens, will we see bigger price increases?
I just got flagged again. I probably should end the live now so we don't lose it, so we can come back tomorrow. Sorry to cut you off so early, bro. Mods, I love you guys.